How's it going, guys? My name is Zach with the Movie Castle, and today we're going to be talking about Piranha. This is the original Piranha. Later in the 2000s, you'd get Piranha 3D, which is what a lot of people think about when they think of the Piranha movies, which is kind of sad because the Joe Dante original is much better. This is Piranha from 1978, directed by Joe Dante and produced by Roger Corman, hence the top of this movie here, Roger Corman's Cult Classics. This movie stars Heather Menzies and Bradford Dillman, and let's go ahead and talk about the plot. I don't want to cover any major spoilers, but I do want to talk about the basic plot, cover certain plot elements, and give you my impression of it so you know what the movie's about in general, but no big spoilers, you know. So you get this movie, and it opens up as a lot of creature features do, with your prologue couple, a couple that's hiking in the woods, sneaking off. They find an abandoned-looking government facility, and the two of them go, hey, let's check this out. You know, it looks abandoned. And inside they find a pool. Hey, that's cool. Let's take a moment and go swimming. They jump in the pool, and really quickly, a mysterious thing comes and eats them, pulls them into the water, and they get eaten. Now, we know from the title what these are, but of course you don't want to show everything right off the bat. So these two people are missing, which leads to your main character there, Maggie McCohen, who is a missing persons investigator. She's a private investigator that specializes in missing persons, usually looking for criminals, but in this case, just average run-of-the-mill teens that disappeared one day. And I do have to really say, I love her character introduction. She's waiting to travel, and in the terminal there is a video game, Jaws the arcade game, and she's playing it. As you know, Jaws kind of kick-started this modern era of creature features, especially for sharks and, you know, real-life animals like alligators and crocodiles and stuff. So when they were making this movie, they knew they were making a creature feature, and they knew that it was heavily inspired by Jaws, and there was a ton of these out at the time, but I have to hand it to Joe Dante's sense of humor and directness. You're making a creature feature inspired by Jaws. Have the main character playing Jaws the video game is just telling the audience, hey, we know what we are. And it was a really fun character introduction. It also establishes that, you know, though this character is professional, she still has a sense of fun about her, and I really do like that, you know. She's a professional investigator that will still take time to play video games, and she's a really cool, kind of an upbeat character that still knows what she's doing, and I do love that feel about this character, and they establish it relatively quickly. So she's going to look for the missing prologue people, and she goes to the town, asks around, starts investigating, and finds a local guide. Doesn't really want to be a local guide, but she finds this drunk that, you know, is down on his luck and doesn't really know what he's doing anymore, and she goes, I need you to help me find these people because you know the world around you. And even though he doesn't want to go, something about her personality makes it where she's really good at dragging people where she needs them to be regardless of what they really want. So he kind of finds himself talking to her, and he mentions that, oh, the area they disappeared, there's nothing up there but the old-timey government lab, which I know about because I'm a local. They take him up there, and they break in and they investigate, and she finds the clothes and belongings of the two missing teenagers, and she finds that even though it seems abandoned, there's one mysterious uncooperative and kind of creepy guy left in the laboratory, she makes the jump in logic that almost every other time would have been correct, that and well, it actually is still pretty much correct, but she assumes that the lab had something to do with their death, and they're covering it up. The clothes and possessions have all been hidden away off to the side, and she finds them. So thinking they're covering something up, and because she finds a missing necklace by the pool, she assumes that they've hidden the bodies in this pool, and she goes to drain the pool to uncover the bodies, which really upsets the guy who's working there, and they do find the skeletons in the pool. So she's right about pretty much everything, except that you shouldn't drain that pool. The guy who's working there explains that they were keeping dangerous, government-altered piranhas in that tank, and they're up the river. So the fish have drained into the river, and as you go down river, first you have a camp full of children, which includes her guide's daughter. So they're at the camp, and you get some fun characters there. Some camp counselor ladies who, are trying to be positive, and then the overly strict counselor guy who's like, your kids are gonna swim, they're gonna learn to do it, and they're gonna do it right, that type of character. And then, his daughter who's kind of afraid of the water. So you get some interesting people at this camp, and then farther down the lake, there is a amusement, sort of like a hotel and resort with big pools and stuff, and, leads right into the lake. So there's a resort opening at the bottom with hundreds of people there, ready for the grand opening. So you have in this movie a timer, and the two main characters have to go down river and try to beat the clock and save as many people at these two locations at the end as they can. Now anyway, let's get into this movie's major pros. I reviewed another Joe Dante film, Gremlins, and in that movie I said the best way to describe this is to compare it to what it could be, and it's the same with this. A lot of these low-budget creature features that spun out of Jaws, if we compare this movie to what it could have been really slow, really boring, uninteresting characters, not too many monsters, and when you look at the actuality of what we got, it's pretty much the exact opposite of that. The timer with the lake keeps it fast-paced and tense, and you do get really, really likable characters in here. I'll explain that the female lead is good. She contrasts really nicely with the male lead, who is, really just gruff and down on his luck. The two seem to, clash in the right ways, but also get along in a lot of the right ways where they're not just fighting all the time. And the fact that these two have the common goal of figuring out how to, convince other people to be on their side, and all the other people that don't want to believe them, because, that's a crazy story, and, a good clash going on there. While I'm talking about characters, there's a scientist lady that comes in from the government later in the film, played by the legendary Barbara Steele, and I saw the name of the opening credits, I'm like, wait, Barbara Steele's in this movie? And yeah, she is, so it's always great to see her. You may remember her from, lots of really classic Italian films, the European Scream Queen. But anyway, you also got to talk about not just the great characters and the pacing, the piranhas themselves. They obviously didn't have the budget to do crazy piranha effects. Now, you do get in the laboratory a really cool stop-motion puppet piranha for a little bit that you see, which is Joe Dante wanting to make a puppet because he's Joe Dante, and that's cool. But the piranhas swimming, you couldn't do much with them. You'd have to, use point-of-view cameras and imply things that might be in the water. But when you do get little flashes of them, you get the piranha puppets, and they're clearly just, puppets, and they go up and they eat people, and it's quick cuts of nom 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 nom, and they make that sound. they make a little nom 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 sound, and it's great. It's both cool and kind of funny, you know, and fun, keeps the upbeat attitude. But this is one of the first movies to do the quick cuts, you know, they go in, you know, quick cut of piranhas, nom nom nom, and, you know, disturbing flashes and quick cuts, you know, and I find that when you get the tropes, the things that people would mimic later, a lot of times the first one does it really well, and then lots of people don't do it so well. Piranha uses quick cuts of these piranhas really well, and that quick chop and editing adds to the frenzy. Now, a lot of times you get choppy editing, and it just feels like choppy editing. It doesn't feel good, it feels disorienting in a bad way. This movie uses it right. The piranhas are a small, chaotic force, and you get these flashes, nom nom nom, cutting in, and just making you feel like you're supposed to feel in a piranha attack. And this movie does the choppy editing right, and a lot of other movies won't. But these quick little flashes, nom nom nom, piranhas, and crazy little bits of, oh, whoa, what was that? It does it well, and a lot of movies wouldn't do it well. There's so many cases where there's a trope that would be used poorly later that was used right in one movie, and then everyone tried to copy it and couldn't figure it out. Another example is the shaky heads from Jacob's Ladder. Done well in Jacob's Ladder, done poorly almost every other time I've seen it. In Piranhas, you gotta talk, there's this fun scene where they're in the water and the piranhas start devouring the raft. Great, tense scene. The piranhas take big chunks out of the wood, and they're trying to get to safety as the raft's being eaten by piranhas. Great, excellent, classic scene. I tell you what, it seems like if you have movies with rafts in it, you get a classic raft scene. Remember The Burning? That had a classic raft scene. So, what other movies have rafts in them? They probably lead to great classic scenes. But anyway, that's really what I want to say in regards to all those pros, is this movie could have been a boring creature feature, but thanks to Joe Dante and thanks to Roger Corman, they were able to, on a low budget, execute a movie that's really fun, entertaining, with a tight pace, good characters, and they were able to do a swarm of piranhas on a low budget, which is really hard to do, really hard to get done. This movie, there's, I believe, 5 total Piranha films. This movie, its sequel, Piranha 2: The Spawning. Then there was another Piranha in the 90s, I believe. And then they made Piranha 3D in the 2000s and Piranha 3DD. And those movies are okay, but, you know, it's kind of funny. They're the partying teen movies, you know. They're outrageous, and it's kind of funny that the Corman version is less explicit. That's kind of weird. But those I've always found were okay for what they are, but I'm definitely a bigger fan of the original Joe Dante Piranha. And if you've just seen the 2000s 3D, 3DD movie, I would say check this out, especially if you're a fan of Dante or Corman, or just really, this is 78, but 70s, 80s films, you know, definitely check this out, definitely give it a watch. I really do recommend it. I'm working on covering more Joe Dante movies on this channel. I'm just kind of in a Joe Dante mood, that horror with good amount of comedy and self-references. You know, that's another thing too, the Joe Dante Easter eggs. He was doing that before, was cool, you know, with the Jaws game and stuff, and it really, really fun. And I will cover at least the second Piranha movie on this channel. I don't know about the rest, but I'll cover the second one. They couldn't get Dante back, but Corman found a good little-known director with potential to do Piranha 2, that being James Cameron. James Cameron, Piranha 2: The Spawning. I'll get to that probably next month, and I'll cover a bunch more Joe Dante movies. Really a big fan of his. Anyway, to everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching. To everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you. You are really helping this channel out. I'll see you guys again very, very soon, and I'll put a relevant playlist down at the bottom if you want to see more stuff kind of along the lines of this. Anyway, have a good day. I'll see you guys again very, very soon.